Everyone, how are you doing? I got a few people in here. I got Cecilia and Christy and Brastard. Yeah, I was real busy today. We were pouring concrete and stuff outside, and I just got real busy, and I almost canceled tonight. But my wife had called, and we were talking about some stuff, and I figured, all right, I better go ahead and do it. I don't care how tired I am. So I hopped in the shower, got cleaned up so you didn't see cement all over my face and everything. I sent emails off to Uncle Al and Anthony, see if they want to come in and talk with me, to you guys, about this. So let's see. We also got Courtney from Wide Family Farms in here now, and the Lala Farms in here. Hey guys. So this is not going to be what you might think it's going to be, but it is. It's shuffling, bouncing around, doing stuff. Okay, so investing in the future. Do it now or wait. And that's kind of what my wife and I were talking about earlier. Now, just to give some background on my wife. Now, when Chris was a teenager, between her sophomore and junior year, and between her junior year and senior year in high school, during the summertime, she worked. She had a internship, apprenticeship type thing with the IRS. One of the couples that went to her church, the one was, I think the husband was the head over the IRS facility in San Jose, California, and the wife was over the San Francisco office of the IRS. So she's always been good with numbers. And, she got her, when she graduated from high school, she enlisted in the Army Reserve. They paid for her education. She got her bachelor's degree in accounting. She currently works for Kennedy Wilson Property Management. So she manages some rather large properties, the accounting for them. Well, one of the properties is part of the UC University system, and some other big multi-complex things. And she deals with all sorts of the budgeting, the evaluation of common area expenses, blah, 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 all this stuff that gives me a headache. And I had to pass an accounting class to get my contractor's license for operating engineer. So I had to do payroll and everything else. Well, she's so far above me. We were talking about our property here in Idaho, what we're doing on it, investing in stuff now, waiting to invest in it. And I actually was talking to her about Scott at Hidden Valley Homestead on his Sunday Night Live, when he talked about the 10 acres next to his property that's for sale for $30,000. And then she starts running all the numbers. Well, if we're going to do that, if you really want to move up there, we'll have to sell the California house. We'll have to get a what's called a park trailer. It's made for staying in mobile home parks and stuff, but it's a trailer that, single wide, you can move around. And we have to set it up here, and we're going through all the stuff we're gonna have to do. And all right, do we want to invest? Do we want to do this? Do we want to buy the property up there? And that's not what we're talking about. So that's what gave me the idea for tonight. So let's see who else has popped in here while I've been rambling on. Back up here. Okay, we have Kaylin Strain is in here. Mary Beth Smith has come in. So let me get into this here for you guys and move over here to the side. So we're talking about what my wife and I has, thing is Lala Farm. There's nothing on it. you build on that you build on that property, you're building off grid. Scott's house, which is right next to it, is totally off grid. No power, no water, no gas. He has solar panels. He has a propane tank. They fill it up. And so that's in northern Idaho, up in Bonner County. That's where Scott has his property up there in the Panhandle. So that's what we were talking about. And so right now, my wife and I have been having a long discussion over the last 7 years dealing with our retirement, which is one of the reasons why we bought up here in Idaho to get the heck out of, guys, sorry, but I'm going to say it, California. It used to be California till a certain party ruined it and started making it a sanctuary state for anybody that wants as an illegal alien, not immigrant, alien, not undocumented, illegal, and giving them all sorts of benefits and then cutting benefits to tax-paying, hardworking people like you and me. So anyways, we decided, all right, we're going to get out of California. And so we looked at a bunch of different states and everything, and settled on Idaho for multiple reasons I'm not going to go into now. But we found this real great property here where I'm at right now. And we've been having to say, all right, do we want to do this right now? She wants to keep working for another 3 years, 4 years, depending on expenses and stuff. Because, hey, she has a $95,000 a year job. All right. And so she wants to milk it for as much as she can before she comes up here. Well, while I'm up here, I'm getting everything ready for when she comes up. She can jump right in, and it's full bore, self-sufficient, self-sustaining up here. Well, it comes up to, are we going to put money in the bank, keep money in the bank, pull some of our 401ks or our retirement investments out? Finally this year we started pulling $1,500 a month off my TSP from the federal government. I still have my operating engineer stuff. I still have my profit sharing from when I worked for a construction company. So we saw, and she has all her 401ks and stuff like that. But one of the things that brought this conversation up today as well is the fact that my Coyote had to go into the shop. My little 24 horsepower tractor I use. It developed a hydraulic leak up front on the steering, I believe it is. And then the 3-point hitch in the back that lifts the attachments up and down started malfunctioning quite a while ago, but I've been had the backhoe attachment on it, so it didn't matter. But what it does is, if I have like the drag box on there, it's not setting where it's, I can't set it to stay in one position. It drops all the way down, or it's all the way up. And if I start using the bucket, as soon as I start curling the bucket, it drops all the way down. So it's in there being worked on right now. Thanks, Courtney. That up there. There we go. But the problem is, if I follow my heart, Mama ain't going to be happy. And I got to keep Mama happy. Mama Bear's got to stay happy. Papa Bear can do certain things, but he still has to watch out for Mama Bear. Lala Farm. Us Easterners just call it the left coast. Well, I would call it the left wingnut coast. Because also the thing is, it's within certain mileage, certain part of the western part of also Oregon and Washington are doing the same stupid things. All these people think, oh, I'm entitled to have everything and I don't have to work, and everybody else does work and needs to support me. So, anyways, so we've gone back and forth how much we're going to invest into it, and so investing in the future or waiting to do stuff, can have positive effects and it can have negative effects. One of the negative effects, it happened to us here when I let the accountant make the decision on something. When we had the irrigation ditch was about 50 to 60 feet away from the house. So, and it would, when the irrigation ditch was full of water, the water would percolate into the basement and we get a couple inches of water in the basement. Not good. So to take care of that, I got some corrugated plastic pipe to put the water into, as it went through the property. Well, I have to make sure it's the same size as the pipe coming in under the roadway, which is 15-inch. No problem. I got it. She's like, that's kind of expensive. Oh, yeah, but it's, watertight and it will keep the water from percolating into the house. And it's cheaper than trying to put a French drain around it and putting pumps in to run all summer long. All right, this is funny. This is really funny. For our 5 acres here in Idaho with a 4-bedroom house on it, we paid $130,000 for it as well. And that was 2016. The day after we closed on it, someone came in and offered $20,000 more. But we already had paper signed, so it was ours. Anyway, so, excuse me, let me get a drink of water here. So but you'd only let me get enough pipe just to go along the one side of the ditch on the one side of the house. Well, I talked to several people in town, most notably the city maintenance person, and his suggestion was I do the whole thing at one shot. I start out at this level here where it comes in. This is the level it goes out. I have to be within. I can be even with, but I can't be higher than it in elevation. What he suggested was what some people have done in town. They go and they dig down, put the pipe in, and then they come back up. So they have good ground cover over the pipe. Well, she goes, oh, no, just do this here, And then, so I wound up doing it, and then I wound up having to rent a dozer to where we were going to move the irrigation ditch to, because where my daughter wanted to put a house right where the irrigation, I don't know why they ran the irrigation ditch the way they did, because it ran through the property, made jogs around instead of just flowing straight through. And everything, it was the idiot guy before us that did all sorts of screwy things here. Anyways, hey, Howie. We got Howie from Food Forest Permaculture here. Anyways, so I went part way, and so forth. To be able to go open ditch the rest of the way, I had to rent a D5 dozer and push up a lot of dirt to bring it up where I could put the ditch in and the next year and not have it flooding everything all the time. Well, I kept saying, hey, we need to put this all 100% underground. Oh, no, we don't. No, we don't. And that was her stance until the oldest grandson walked right off and fell in the ditch when it was full of water and started getting floating down. All I said was, put the ditch underground. Okay, we got Drops Family Gardening here now. Hey, so because I had buried the pipe already on the one, on the one section, 200 feet of it, and the pipe, you can only deflect it so much to, at an angle where the joints are, you can only deflect it so much. I for the rest of it, when I finally put the rest of it in, I had to angle it down slowly, dig down. And so a good portion of it going over to the south property fence and up to where it goes out the property is, 3 feet underground, at least 3 feet of cover over it. Well, now, she goes, well, what about this? And we had this discussion a couple months ago about it. And basically, having to rent a excavator to straddle the ditch I dug with the coyote to be able to dig it deeper and move stuff around and all the other stuff I did to it, what happened was, if the difference it would have cost us was about, I think it was came out to about $1,800 more doing it the way she did, wanting to do it piecemeal, instead of the way I wanted to just get in there, dig, rent. I never would have had to rent the dozer. I wouldn't have pushed all that dirt up. There was a lot of stuff I wouldn't do. I wouldn't have had to rent the Bobcat track loader to take all that dirt out that I pushed up before. So, you got to look at things you're doing, your investment in your homestead or your preps and everything, whether it's going, what you're doing now versus what you're going to have to pay for in the future, parts and stuff. And so that's what tonight is about. Let's see if I can find the right tab there. There it is. Boom. Okay, so property value. Are you going to buy, and my sister's good at this one. She would buy a property and stay there for a couple of years, let it increase in value, buy another property, sell the first one, and she'd move around like that. As a teenager, teens and 20s, probably moved her 12 times, helped move her 12 different times. Hey, Anthony, I sent you the link if you want to come up here and talk about investments when we get the money investment part. So, you have to make your decision on what is your goal for the future. What are you doing now? What are you willing to get by with now? And what are you going to do? What's your goal to have in the future? Do you want to get a rundown piece of property, work on it, fix it up a little bit, and then in 10 years or so, when the market increases on it, sell it and get what you really want? Or do you want to try to get what you really want, where you don't have to do a lot of work, where you don't have to have all the grief, anguish, and trying to get things done to make it livable? And, it's choices you got to make. And that's when I'm a big proponent of the 2-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 20-year plan. And basically, you plan, okay, this is where I want to be in 2 years, and you continue it on. This is where I want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years for retirement. And so, Michael 58's in here. Hey, Michael. Let me take a quick look, see who I missed sneaking in the side door here while I'm rambling here. I bet everyone drops it. Okay, going back. Oh, of course, Courtney's husband, which I put his comment up there. So we got Courtney at Wide Family Farm and Courtney's husband at Courtney's husband. Anyways, so property values and what you're doing also includes what are you going to do to your property. Made me think, okay, so all right, I want to put in, we want to have chickens here. We want to have possibly a couple pigs, some goats, maybe a steer, buy a newborn calf. Well, as soon as they're weaned, raise it here, and then send it off to the meat locker. So yeah, do it right the first time, and that's some of the times the problem is talking with my wife. She sees it this way as the right way, and I see it this way as the right way. Sometimes she's right, sometimes I'm right. Sometimes it was something different that neither one of us, was the best choice. So those are the things we got to look at. And Cecilia, I agree with you. Winning the lottery but the problem is your odds are 1 in 300 million or something to win the lottery. So, but when it comes to like property values and stuff, what are you doing to make your property more valuable? Is it worth spending that money to make your property more valuable? So one of the things, and also, I talk to my sister, buys land, buys property, lets it goes up, sells it, and that's what she does. She's a real estate broker. That's what she does. Let's see what else I got here. One of the other things to think about for investing is solar. Is it worth it to get the solar panels and everything else, spend the money now, and then start reaping the benefits almost immediately, as far as less on your utility bills, but you still have the bill to pay off if you had to take out a loan to get the solar panels? When does the one pass the other? When do expect and all of a sudden you're in the green and you're in the black making money? In California, especially up with I don't know about down south with SoCal Edison, but up with Pacific Gas and Electric, yeah, it's if you can get solar panels in and stuff, you can start making money fairly quickly on it, as far as and compared to what you're paying, especially if you overdo your panels, where during the daytime you're producing more electricity in a day than you would normally use in 2 days. You're making money. Because you sell the extra to the power company, and then at night you draw a little bit and you sell a bunch, and that's the way it goes on that, which makes it really good. And like Drop Family said, the grid goes down, the solar will be worth it. So investing in solar is one of the things. And one of the guys I know, he pulled all his stock investments and stuff and put it into solar companies. He did it about 8 years ago, and he quadrupled his investment in 5 years. And then 2 years ago, he pulled out. I'm not sure what he went into, but he told me, "Hey, I'm pulling out. We're about ready to hit the saturation point here for a fast money earning on solar panel," and he went into something else. All right, where am I at the right angle here? There we go. Okay. Investing in your soil, in your earth, especially for homesteaders. Do you want to spend the money to fix all your soil up immediately? Choice you got to think about. Or can you do it piecemeal at a time and slowly work it in and slowly develop the soil? Like I said, we want to put in a chicken coop, but we've having discussions. All right, do we want to make it a big mobile chicken coop that I just hook the tractor up to, pull it 20 feet each day, and just move it around the property so the chickens scratch and do all the other stuff and poop in it, and work the soil that way, or move it every couple of days? That's one of the things we're still working on. We're still looking at that, whether we want to do it that way or whether we want to, build a permanent one and just have a small chicken tractor, pull around thing, where we put a bunch of chickens in it and move it around and, do it that way. Granted, we want to have chickens for two reasons. One is for the eggs, obviously. Two is for meat birds. So we want to have both laying birds and meat birds. All right, there's Anthony. And let's get Anthony up here. Boom. There, Anthony. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
All right. I really was hoping I could get you in here, because I know I've watched several of your videos where you've talked about investments and stuff. And that last one you really talked about stuff. And you talked about the future, short-term, long-term investments. And so right now, basically, I was just thinking about land, and land investments are like, I know you're doing a lot of investment into your own land. Mm-hmm. You're fixing it up, making things. And I've seen several channels saying, well, all right, we're going to do this year, this next year. This, we're not sure it's going to be worth it, so we're going to put it off a bunch. And I've other channels say, well, yeah, we really want to do this, but it's so expensive. Do we want to spend the money to do it now? Is it going to be worth it in the long run? or do we save up until we can afford and do it, without having to get a loan? Your thoughts on any of that?
Well, for
I know it's
me,
hard.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, it's just where to start because how many of y'all? I can't speak for everybody in here, but how many of y'all have actually read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki? If you
Mhm.
haven't read that book, I highly suggest you. It's a financial book, but I highly suggest you do it because it'll kind of retrain your mind into thinking about how money works. And one of the lessons that I like to use in prepping and the prepping mindset is assets and liabilities. And if you go back to my really old videos, you'll see where I'm talking about assets and liabilities in the prepping world. And basically, the quickest way I can kind of tell y'all is an asset puts money in your pocket and a liability takes money out of your pocket. Now, there's a lot of people out there, especially in the prepping community, that like to they convince themselves they need something, that it's an asset, but in reality, it's a liability because it's another bill they have to pay. Now, when it comes down to buying I don't know, we'll say a freezer, say you buy a chest freezer. Well, that's going to eventually be an asset because you're not throwing away as much food. You can stockpile a lot of food while it's on sale, and you're ultimately going to be saving yourself a lot of money over the time while you have that. However, going out and buying a boat because you want to go fishing, I don't think the amount of fish you're going to catch is really going to offset the cost of having that boat. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times when it comes to especially preppers and men, I mean, I'm speaking from experience here. I did this myself as well. We like to try to bargain in our head, hey, this will save me in the long run, this somehow. But you have to really be honest with yourself. And a lot of this stuff, when it comes down to assets, really, putting it down to paper, is this going to make me money or is this going to save me money? And I'm a huge fan of knowing if it is going to make you money, how long is it going to take to either make your money back or make a surplus? Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like, I agree on that because, 2 years ago, when the Sam's Club had their 7 cubic foot freezer on sale, it was actually cheaper than the 5 cubic foot freezer. I bought one and I just stuck it out my cargo container. Well, when all this craziness started going crazy back and all the meat started disappearing off the shelves and everything, in one day, the 12 freezers they had in stock at Sam's Club here were gone. I went in because they went on sale and went in, looked at it. Should I get another one? Came back home, talked to my wife, went back to get it, and they were all gone. So yeah, I mean, I was like, wow. And then a couple of it's been about 3 weeks now. They got a new one in, a 9 cubic foot one. It wasn't on sale, but they had, every time they were only getting 1 or 2 freezers in because everybody's buying them. And now they have besides the 5 and the 7 cubic foot, they had a 9 cubic foot in, and they got a couple in. My daughter ran up, grabbed my truck, ran up there, bought, and by the time she got there, got the last one. Because I was checking their website every day, and they got it in stock. She grabbed my truck, ran up there, and got the last one. And it's sitting out in the cargo container, not hasn't been plugged in yet. Mine we plugged in, we stocked it up with a hamburger and some other meats and stuff and pastas, the frozen, pasta mixes, the pre-done dinners and stuff where all you do is heat it up in the microwave, whatever. So we stocked the one I had up, and we stocked it up. So right now, we're not having to go to Sam's Club or to the grocery store as often because my other chest freezer is full, and we eat it down. We go once, we go one trip, fill it back up again. And that way we're not exposing ourselves to people, and we're not having, it's a, 25-minute drive to Idaho Falls. So we're not making that trip as many times. So in a little bit, in one way, it's saving us gas money. Mm-hmm. And it's, keeping us from running into some idiot that's coughing all over the place without a mask on that has the red dragon. But, we also have coming up here, we're on August 4th. So October 22nd, we have an appointment with the butcher for a steer we were buying from some friend of ours here. They'll take in and they will fill up both freezers. We'll have the the meat to fill it up. So in that sense, it's it's allowing us to get meat at ridiculously cheap, like a third the price of what we're paying for in the store right now. And so
well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
I'm saying that's the thing. Like if you can buy things in bulk like that, it's going to ultimately save you money. And if you have the ability to like keep that at your house, that's an asset to you, because you're not at the mercy of these store prices, these grocery store prices. Because I'm not sure how many people watching have paid attention to the consumer price index lately, but over the last 1 year alone, the consumer price index has increased 11% with food, 10% with beef, chicken, and pork, and 8%, I believe, with dairy. So, a lot of us rely on that kind of stuff, and we have no other option, especially live in the city where you can't grow your own meat or, use your land for having meat, say chickens or whatnot, and you're at the mercy of the stores regardless. So, being able to do what you're saying and work out a deal with one of those buy half a steer, half a pig companies will only save you money, period.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of the things I was talking about before you came in. We're planning on getting chickens here, and I was talking about what type of chicken coop we were going to build and stuff, and how big and everything else. I really like the one. I believe it's Lala Farming. It has the really big, nice. Actually, I think they got two. They got one out in their goat pen, and they got another one just where all the layers are and stuff. So they in their or not goat pen. They're maybe it is goat pen. I'm trying to remember. I've watched so many videos here, but so they have a bunch of chickens out there kept in the pen there, and they get out and they scratch up all the poo and everything else and help break it up and process it, keep the flies down and everything else. And then they have their layers, and that's kind of what my wife and I have been talking about. If we get a pig or two and some goats, we're going to want I have some chickens out there doing that, keeping the flies down, scratching and doing what the chickens do when they're around, other livestock.
I would highly advise getting chickens first.
Yeah. And so right now my daughter has several Rhode Island Reds, but my wife and I want to do it the right way. And my wife has seen the pictures of what the chicken coop my mom had. And that's what she's kind of leaning to. So it's like, but talking with her right now, it's like, do I get the chickens before you get up here, Chris? Or do I wait until 6 months before you get up here and buy and build the chicken coop and get chickens? So when you get up here, you have the chickens to work with. And so that's one of the things. Am I going to invest in it now, or am I going to invest in it later?
See, and that's one heck of an investment, because I had to do the math myself when I built my first chicken coop, which ended up costing me, with materials I bought and was able to source, it still cost me like $200 for a good coop. And you got to think of how many eggs that's actually going to cost you to try to get back your initial investment, notwithstanding having, to buy feed, having to buy, the feeder, the water, all that stuff that you may have to throw in there as well. So in reality, it took me about a year and a half to really kind of break even. But like I said, it's all up front now, since I've had chickens for 8 years now. I mean, it's just, I spend $26 every other month on 2 bags of feed. And that's good because I only got 5 chickens, and 1 bag usually lasts about a month. So, 150-pound bag lasts about a month. So, and when it comes down to chicken eggs, I'm saving so much more money just by having eggs. Not to mention they do eat all my produce that I don't eat. The stuff that's looking kind of. That also cuts down the feed bill. And if I want to go let them free range while I'm outside working, that also cuts down the feed bill. So in reality, it's, I'm really not losing that much money, and they're entertaining as heck. I highly encourage anybody, if you don't have chickens, you definitely start with them first, period.
Yeah. And who was it there said, looking at it here. Drops Family Garden says, throw it up there. Definitely get laying hens first and a permanent coop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Period. Because
Yeah.
laying hens, you can use that as a supplemental income. That's what I did for a long time when I moved into this house. I had 25 chickens and I was laying literally like a dozen a day, like a little over a dozen a day. So I was taking, a dozen to 2 dozen eggs, especially in the wintertime, or I'm sorry, the summertime, to work with me when I was working over at CarMax, and I was selling the 2 dozen eggs a day. And I used organic feed at the time, so I was able to sell them for $5 a dozen, $4.50 if you brought me my carton back. And I was making money out of, $50 a week, easy, if not more, just from doing that. So just a small way to earn a little bit of side cash also. But one of those investments when it comes down to around if you want to do like the homestead thing, I highly suggest that you consider the costs up front and are you willing to wait that long, period.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Drop's idea here. Since I have a YouTube channel, the supplies you use in the videos, chicken coop stuff, write it off as an investment for the once I get monetized, that I can write it off as a YouTube business, because I'm retired. So I could, once I hit the thousand subscriber mark, then I can say, hey, this is my business, because I know that's what Daniel at Arms Family, he just quit the highway patrol in Oklahoma. And
yeah, I just hit mine, and that's what I'm doing as well. I'm getting my LLC moved over from my previous endeavor, and just gonna absorb the YouTube channel in there. That way, I kind of keep the tax liability, so I'm not gonna lose everything just in case. However, one of those things that you didn't also pay attention to is the fact that yes, you can write off certain things for the YouTube channel, but you don't want to be so upside down where it's like, it'll throw you off to get an audit. Like, wow, this guy's spending 25 grand and made $15. Why is he in business? Is this some sort of money laundering scheme?
Yeah, it's like I said in the beginning, you didn't catch the beginning when I was talking about my wife and stuff. She between her sophomore and junior and senior years in high school, during the summertime, she worked for the IRS as a intern or whatever, because she knew the head of the office went to church with her, the person over the IRS office. So and she's an accountant. She does our taxes. She does a whole bunch of family members' taxes and stuff. She just does it for free for them.
Yeah.
So,
you can also use your
anytime I do something, I go, is this deductible? And she goes, let me check. And so we say, she has me saving all the receipts so she can see what we can deduct, what we can't.
Well, if you have eggs and you have a local farmer's market, you can eventually get to the point where you're deducting your vehicle to get to and from the farmer's market, deducting the gas, obviously, deducting your room that you're using to film your videos. I mean, it's a whole big spiel. She'll know all the details when it comes down to that. But to answer Wide Family Farms question, how do I sell my eggs? Basically, what I do, it depends on your area, because in my local area, everybody has chickens, so no one's going to buy eggs. But I worked, luckily, closer towards a city. And by feeding organic feed, you can legitimately taste the difference versus someone who feeds with like Do More, which there's nothing wrong with Do More feed, period. You can do that and the chickens eat it, no big deal. But there's a definite difference in taste when you have like a Nutrina organic versus a Do More feed. And when they taste those eggs for the first time, they'll keep coming back to buy more. So you're going to have to do a little bit of legwork, but once you get your customers, they're going to be very, very loyal to you.
Yeah. So, like Lala Farm there says they sell about 40 dozen a week via their Facebook channel and groups.
Yeah, there you go. If you can get to a local farmer's market, I mean, I know people that go to the farmer's market religiously and they sell out every single time.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, we have one up here in Idaho Falls. I said it's 20 minutes away, but most of the stuff like that, by the time we get there, we've gone like around noon, all the eggs and stuff are gone.
Yeah, and if you really want to get creative, you can always do like pickled eggs and sell them to bars or something like that. Because I know a lot of guys at bars like to eat pickled eggs. I know I used to. You also need.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it all depends on where you're at.
Yeah. Drops. What state are you in?
He's in Spokane, I think, Washington.
That's right, Spokane, Washington. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's part of the problem. They got left wing nuts in charge of that state too.
Yeah, here all you need is a farmer's market license, and you can go to a local farmer's market. If you want to go to the statewide, like one in the capital, state capital, that kind of thing, you're obviously going to need a few more things, but it's a local permit basically, and you can go to the town one. However, just know that by going there, by having that, they're allowed to inspect you at any time, period. So
yeah,
just keep that part in mind.
Yeah. Okay, let me check something else over on the side here. So, come on, work. There we go. So one of the other things talking about, your homesteadings and stuff. Let me switch here. There we go. When it comes time to for what you're doing, are you going to get a brand new tractor or whatever, or are you going to use an old time one? I've done both.
I would go old time.
I have that 1939 9N Ford tractor, which I used to do the heavy stuff around here. And then I have that little Coyote that has the loader bucket on it and the little drag box stuff where I need to get into tight spaces. I use it. So, and it also has the backhoe attachment on it. So yeah, to me, the for disking the fields and doing the brush hog mowing of them, everything, the Ford 9N, which I paid $6,000 for, is a champ. Look, Uncle Al's coming in.
Hey, Anthony.
That's the thing. When it comes down to buying new or buying old, if you have the capabilities to remember anything, especially those old Ford tractors like you have, you can replace anything on those in the field, point blank. Everything is meant to be changed out. Everything is designed to be changed out. It's not like nowadays with John Deere stuff where they're trying to make they're trying to lobby Congress to change laws to where you can't actually work on your own tractors. I've actually seen that. That's why I really don't like John Deere right now, because they're trying to make it so you never actually own your tractor. You're just basically leasing it, and I don't like that. So you also want to make sure you realize that tractors, just like cars, the minute you put so many hours on them, you're losing so much money. Is it really worth that when you could buy a used one just as good as a new one, may have had one or two services on it, and you're dropping off 20% of the price?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when I got the tractor, I started checking into it and stuff, all the different things on it, because the had the old oil filter on it is one of those solid cans, and you unloosen the top on it, and it's got the filter goes inside of it, and you put it back on together. Was leaking a little bit, and when I worked construction, we put extra oil filters on all the Cat diesel engines and stuff besides the ones they had, so we didn't have to worry about a lot of problems and stuff. And so I went on Amazon to check out what Ford filters were and stuff and everything else. I found the owner's manual for my Ford tractor. I found a parts manual, all really cheap, and Amazon has all the parts and stuff. They have the 6 volt system and the upgraded 12 volt system, and it's like, whoa, everything I need right there. So to me, picking up the that old tractor was a steal at $6,000.
Yeah, that's important to be clear. I'm not trying to dog anybody. If you want to go brand new, by all means. I mean, you're an adult; you can make adult decisions. I'm just trying to say, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes down to how much you're going to be paying just in depreciation alone, that money could be better spent elsewhere. Especially if you're like me and you like to play around in like the stock market, precious metal investments, property investments, that kind of thing. Because I don't like my money coming in one stream only. I like to try to multiply the streams of my income, and by spending high dollar on one big purchase like that that's going to depreciate anyway. You're really kind of handicapping yourself whenever it comes down to the potential of where your money could be making the most money for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that the thing is too, see, I bought the 9N tractor first. The following year, I bought the Coyote. So I was using the 9N to do stuff around here till I needed the backhoe attachment and the loader bucket attachment. So I'd put off buying it. So for me, I wasn't investing right away. I waited a year before I invested in that tractor. Hey, we got Bob the Metal Guy in here, Steve at Corsairs Trainers, and some others that probably snuck in while the conversation was going on. Oh, Jehoiadak Maccabeus, Maccabeus Off Grid and Everyday Survival's in here. All right, so let's take a look at the next slide here. There we go, Anthony. This is for preppers, all right, and even homesteaders as well. You know, and there's several channels out there that talk about investing in stuff, and I just forgot his name.
Sunny?
Probably Sunny over at the Underground.
Yeah. Underground, that's it. Underground, yeah. Underground talks silver all the time. Hey, Josh Connor's in here. And so, you know, investing in gold and silver, you have to decide, like Anthony said, is that for you or not? Yeah.
Just remember that when it comes to gold and silver, there is vastly different doctrines on it. People think, you know, hey, this is where I need to put all my money, period. You got other people saying I use it just so I can keep my money safe. My personal opinion is you're using it as an insurance. Because let's be honest here, every time the federal government turns on the printing presses, the value of your dollar goes away. So if you look at, I mean, there's a usinflationcalculator.com. You can see how bad the United States dollar has devalued since 1913 when they passed the Federal Reserve Act. So by being able to be in something like gold or silver, by the way, gold hit an all-time high today, over $2,000. So for those of you who are in gold, good on you. And silver is right up there with $25. It's at a almost decade high. I think 2016 it might have been the same, but it's very high right now. So it's nice to know that you have that insurance. And the best part about it is, since people want it so bad and that demand is there, you can get over the paper value.
Cool. All right.
Oh, let me, before we go into food and stuff, on silver and gold, Anthony's correct, but we missed the big thing. What happened in 1933?
The not Federal Reserve, the president said it's illegal to own gold bullion.
Yep. And what happened to silver?
Well, it went up, but it also went back down because they artificially changed the value of the dollar. When they changed because basically when they did, they made gold illegal, and then they doubled the price of gold. So ultimately it made your dollars worth a little bit more, and the dollar was backed by silver. So yes.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey.
All right. So the next thing to think about, and this is going to get a little stretched out here. All right. So for homesteaders and preppers, do you invest in canning all your food, or do you invest in freeze-dried bulk foods and just other bulk foods? Or do you do a mix where you have stuff you buy on sale, you have your freeze-dried bulk foods over here, you got your canning foods up there? What works best for you? What is going to give you the biggest return for your investment? And, you know, so that's something you got to figure out yourself. Hey, Keith.
Hey, Keith.
So personally, I think the third one here, where you do a mixture of all, like Anthony said, you want all your money in one pot, one stream. You want several sources of income. I look at like this picture here. Yeah, you have some of the 20-year storable food here for emergencies. There's your insurance. You have your canning stuff that you can yourself. That keeps your costs down. And there are certain things you just buy because it's easier, simpler, takes less of your time. You can devote your time to other things instead of trying to make homemade peanut butter or do all your own spices. Sometimes you can grow spices and do it, like both Martha at Old School Prepper just had a video on harvesting the mustard seeds.
Yep.
And then Kathy, North Star Prepstetter, was talking about, what was her last? She's been talking all about all the herbs and stuff lately. She's been going through all of them and growing them and talking about that. So you can work yourself in so you can grow your own herbs, freeze dry them, store them, whatever. There are certain things like refried beans. Is it worth the hassle of growing that many beans to try to pick that many beans to make your own refried beans, or just buy it at Winco?
Well, you got to think, depending on your location, some things may grow better than others anyway. Yeah. And one thing that I wanted to make sure that we are all on the same page is, all it takes is one mouse or one animal to get in, or, say your house, water gets in and damages a lot of your food supply. If you don't have the ability to be able to make, store, and, grow, make, dry, whatever your own food, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So you want to make sure that you're going to have enough. Personally, my opinion is you have about a year or 2 years worth of food stashed away. That way, if something does happen tomorrow, you got 1 year to 2 years worth of food to get you going until the rest of your home or your property can produce what you need for your family. That's personally my opinion. And if it's something that I'm really good at growing, like tomatoes, obviously I can grow my own tomato sauce all day. I do that constantly, same with hot sauce and all that stuff. So I have no need to buy it. But when it comes down to some of the big stuff, it really makes no sense to me, since I only have so much land to put out an acre just to grow corn, when I can go buy a bushel or a couple bags of corn for $80. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me top off on Anthony. Why the 2 year food cycle? Because in the old days, it takes 2 years to get how many harvests? If you're growing your own food.
Well, you also want to make sure you're giving yourself insurance, because if you have one bad season that destroys everything, you're done. So you want to make sure you got a backup to the backup.
Yeah.
Right. So
for some onions, you plant them from seed. At the end of the first year, you got small onions. You harvest them, and then in the next year you plant those, and then you get big onions. And there's several crops that first year is, second year is where you get all your mass
growth.
production on it. Yeah.
They're called biannuals, and a lot of people misses that. That's why you need 2 years of food, because the first year could go bad. You could have bugs, like Gil says. It could be too small, and you have to wait a second year to get full growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all one of those things where I hope that you're doing this in stages. You're not trying to go out tomorrow and thinking you got to put away 3 years, 5 years of food. Yeah. This is like a step process. 6 months alone is better than, don't shoot for the fence. When you're going up to the plate, you don't try to get a home run every single time. Sometimes you need that sacrifice fly. Your runner to second, you can score the next time. So just keep that part in mind. You don't got to go hardcore. If you don't have but 2 weeks worth of food, focus on 3 weeks. If you got 3 weeks worth of food, focus on 4 weeks. Small wins here. That's all we're looking for.
Yeah, and sometimes the bunt is what you need.
Yep.
And the thing is, when it comes to your home production stuff, are you going to invest in the freeze dryer right away, or are you just going to do the water bath canner for what you can and get a pressure canner? Are you going to go for the cheap dehydrator, or the big expensive one you're first going out? You got to look at how much are you doing, what's it going to be to you, what is really the best going to give you the best bang for your buck and the biggest return in the long run for your investment? Are you going to save up and buy a pressure canner in 2 years, one of those big ones that you can really do everything with, or are you just going to get a small pressure canner now? And Anthony, I know you do a lot of pressure canning.
Yeah, for me, it's I like to buy once, cry once, but I'm also a realist and know that if I'm only going to be using something a couple times a year or a couple times a month, there's no need to go ahead and spend, thousands of dollars on something amazing like my smoker. I use my smoker, I don't know, a couple times a month maybe. So there's no need for me to go out there and buy the several $1,000 Traeger when I could go out and spend $500 on a quality smoker and get what I need out of it without having a really big issue. Same principle here when it comes to dehydrators. I have a $60 Nesco, and it's done me very well for about 5 years now. So just keep that part in mind. I mean, a lot of these companies do give you really good warranties. So also when you're buying stuff, make sure you're buying a company that can have parts if you need to replace, has a good warranty, and you're doing your due diligence and you're shopping around.
Yeah. I just noticed that in the picture I grabbed here for this cheap one in the bottom right here, it's a NutriChef, and the water purifier I picked up for my daughter and son-in-law is a NutriChef too, and we've had no problems with it. And my mom had something that years ago that was NutriChef as well that was good. So it may be cheap or maybe inexpensive, but they last, and it worked good.
Wasn't that the blender for your mom?
I can't remember what I'm trying to remember which one. It may have been a blender, the NutriChef blender she had.
Yep. Hi, JC. And also, Steve's right. One day at a time. I did a bunch of videos, and please check out Steve at Corsair Trainer. He has a whole series on that covers this, because Uncle Alan's getting really old and tired, and I don't want to repeat another 40 times on getting canned foods.
Yeah. Steve has some really great videos talking about common sense and prepping, common sense and a lot of stuff. And so,
and don't forget to check out Anthony's video on the soapstone. Good video.
Yeah, that was cool.
A lot of people don't
never realized that you could use soapstone to boil water. That was cool.
Also, you got the one with you could freeze things in it, because my grandfather used to line our cool room up at the ranch with 2 feet thick soapstone. And talk about cold. It was 40 degrees in there. Outside, if you walk out here, it's 106. Over there, I'm wearing a coat going, can we go outside, please?
Yeah.
And that's when I'm in my 20s.
Uncle Al, thank you for saying. You just brought back a memory from when I was little, with listening to my grandmother and her sister talk about the soapstone root cellar they had up by Coeur d'Alene, because they had soapstone in, and she said it was divided up, so they had the soapstone down the middle, and on the one side they'd bring in and pack it full of ice.
Yep.
And
you have a little gully in the middle of that room, so the water would go out.
Soapstone would keep it cold. It would keep the cold. Yeah. Cool.
That stuff is a miracle, and a lot of people don't know about it, and it's unfortunate because a lot of the old timers that have been around for a long time, they don't teach, or the kids, they don't care to learn some of these old things. So when you say soapstone, a lot of people in my generation are like, "What?" That's why I made the video. That way people can kind of learn. Hey, this is very important. I know I got like I said, 25 pounds of soapstone. I can literally grab a piece when it's 100 degrees outside that's been sitting inside my 70-degree house, and it's legitimately cold as I'm walking around outside for a good several minutes to put on my neck or whatever if it's really hot. It's literally like a little cooling thing. Same principle, vice versa in the summertime or in the wintertime. When it's really cold outside and it's kind of warm in my house, like I got a little pocket heater I can put in my pocket, and it's warm for a very long time. So small little thing. But yeah.
And a nice thing about soapstone ice houses, you don't have to have those big beds of gravel on the floor, because we had tile in ours. And what they did was, once the ice melt, it goes down a little canal, a little channel, and out the thing into the pasture. I thought that was neat as hell because ever walked into a root cellar with a gravel floor?
We don't have many root cellars here. It's too the water table's too high here.
Do I? Okay, I keep forgetting you guys. My grandfather had a root cellar, and it's like crunch, crunch, crunch. Okay, bring the boxes over here, but they weigh 100 pounds each. You're a man. I'm only 12.
Yeah. All right. Now, the other thing for preppers, investment in. I know I'm going here, but it's just to point out, to make a point. I'm not, okay. Are you going to invest in a, like Anthony said, buy once, cry once, get a good hunting rifle, or are you going to go get a little cheap Walmart plunker and save up your money until you can get the good one, and in the meantime, you keep on missing the deer?
Yeah. It all depends on your skill level and how efficient you are. Because I mean, I've seen people with some really weird looking old guns. I mean, you watch people with these surplus, Mosin Nagats that are taking down deer at 300 yards because they know how to shoot, versus the guy who went out and spent $1,200, $1,500 on a custom made rifle with a big gigantic Leupold scope on it and can't hit something at 200 yards. It all depends on your skill level, really.
Yeah.
Like I said, my old deer rifle still works. It just knocks me for a loop. I had fired a couple of weeks ago on a feral pig, a 45-70. I'm still not feeling well from that because the pig went down. Uncle Alan went down the other way. It threw me because right now I'm losing weight. I'm only 200 pounds. If you ever fired a single barrel 45-70 with a 300 grain soft lead bullet, you will feel it. I think you, Gil, or Anthony ever fired one. Trust me, it's worse than a shotgun.
Yeah.
Back lever action.
But you have weight on the lever action. This is an old HR single barrel one. There's no weight, so Uncle Alan flies through the air.
Well, I got 3 boxes of 45-70 sitting back there on that desk.
So you know what I'm talking about, Gil.
Yeah.
And I'm small. I'm only 5'6", guys, and less than 200 pounds. So you can imagine. Oh, look, Uncle Alan's flying like Superman.
Yeah. So along with this is something that earlier today, Ryan Jeski at Prescott Caliber Club put out a video about ammunition. And so, he's talking about, right now he, as a distributor, is having hard time keeping his store stock of ammunition because everybody's freaking out buying all the ammunition because, hey, guess what year this is? This is an election year.
Every time. It's like clockwork.
Doesn't matter, who wins. Beforehand, everybody's buying, and whoever wins, the opposite party is going to be freaking out and buying everything they can. And so the thing is,
look at 2008.
Yeah.
I mean, 2008 is a perfect example because 22 LR, the one round that shouldn't be as expensive as it is, in 2008, 2009, you could not find it. It was gone. And that's a squirrel round. And there are people out there with, 1,000 rounds that were selling it for $500, which is absolutely ridiculous. But they were getting that because no one had 22 LR because everybody was so used to being able to buy 100 rounds for $2. Nowadays, they cost what, $9 for 100 rounds for good quality ones. So if you can even find them, same principle here. That's why if you have the opportunity to buy whenever everything's good, that's why we prepare. You buy while everything's good, just in case things aren't always good.
Yeah. Farmall fanatics in the house. Bam! Welcome, Farmall. And one of the things that Ryan was talking about, he was talking about investing now or later on stuff, was reloading equipment. And he was talking about, what
that's even getting hard.
Huh?
I said that's even getting hard just because I reload, and in order to reload, you still need to be able to find things like powder and primers. And primers are becoming a difficult thing to find. So it's the same principle. You have to source ammo. You got to source primers. It's not like with a. I mean, if you're a lever action guy, or not lever action, but muzzle loader guy, then all you got to do is just get lead and black powder. You're fine.
Yeah.
But the primers is the hard part. Now.
And he was talking about the different calibers. You know, some people like some of these exotic calibers and stuff, and it's like, pardon the pun, but you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because it's going to, those exotic calibers are going to become really hard to get. But
it's funny because some of the exotic calibers are the only thing you can buy right now. Like when it comes to pistols, you can't find 9mm for anywhere within a reasonable price. However, I can go online and find 10mm right now, no problem, for decent prices because no one has it. So it all depends on how much you got. Now, if you are one of those people that buys something really random in the first place, like a 450 Bushmaster, then yeah, you probably had a hard time during the good times. But if you are out, shooting a surplus, and everyone's bought all the surplus, and you're trying to figure out where to get extra stuff from, you might have to get that intermediate round. And I can tell you from experience, since I am a reloader, just because you reload does not mean you're saving money, because you're going to want to shoot more, because you're going to want to play with powder loads and see how cool everything can be. And so, no, that's one of those things I was talking about earlier in the stream. Hey, you're going to bargain in your head to save yourself some money. I didn't save money at all. I just wasted more money.
But you had more fun. You had more fun. It's like going to Disneyland.
Yeah. Disneyland for adults. Anthony, guess what 9mm I use that nobody else here in America use? I use 9x18.
9x18?
Yeah, that's Makarov.
The Markov or whatever,
Markov, because it's a bigger round than the regular 9mm. It won't go through a 9mm or a 380. That's false. The opposite will happen with the 9mm and the 380. It'll screw up your pistol, so I don't recommend it. But the Makarov, it's like I could get it anytime I want. Yeah. Because everybody thinks it's a Russian substandard. Well, 41 countries use it for police and self-defense, and it's very popular around the world, except for America.
Yeah, when I was chatting back and forth with Ryan at Prescott Caliber Club, when I think you were talking about round stuff, and I told him what I had. He's like, I got for a rifle, I have 22, I have 30-30, I have 5.56, and I have 45-70. For pistol, I have 22, 357, 32-20, 30-30, and 45-70 in my pistols. And then for a shotgun, I have 12 gauge and 410. And I also have 410 in a pistol. And I told him those weird pistol ones, the 30-30, the 45-70, and the 410 and the 32-20 are for my Thompson Contender. But
hey, Lori,
you see, I have ammunition that works both for pistol and for rifle, and I have some that work for shotgun and pistol. That way, I try to condense my stream there of ammunition, so it has multiple uses. It's not just I have this is good only for this one, this is good only for that one, this is good only for that one. Like some people have 12 different things, and they 12 different calibers for pistols. They have 12 different calibers for rifle. None of them are all matching up. And so other than 22.
Which, let's be honest here. I mean, I'm going to say something that's going to probably make some people mad, but whatever. If you have 15 different calibers and you don't have a year's worth of supply of food or water, you got problems.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, big time.
You're overemphasizing something when you need to be balancing out what you got. So you need to think of your preparedness as like a barbell, and you're overloading one side if you're focusing too much on boom booms, not on yum yums.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Lori's here. the Queen of the North, aka the
Hey, Lori.
Prairie Rider. So yeah,
Anthony, is it 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning for you?
No, it's only
Right?
10 o'clock right now.
10
Oh,
o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting you're 4 hours difference, right?
Yeah.
3, I believe.
Well, three for me. 4, time zone. So yeah, so it's 10 o'clock for Anthony. It's 8 o'clock for me. It's 7 o'clock for Uncle Al. So you got to be careful on how you're doing your money. Figure out whether it's going to be paying. It's going to pay you off right, or are you just flushing it down the toilet.
And the unfortunate thing is, a lot of people aren't taught how to manage money or how to play with their money and do it responsibly. So you want to make sure that it's never too late. You can be 60 years old and it's never too late to seek out quality information, read good books on how to manage your money, because if you do not give your money a pathway of where it needs to go, it's going to rule you and you'll never know where it's going. So if you have a certain amount of money coming in every single month, you need to make sure you have a budget, and you need to make sure that you're sticking with it. I know a budget sounds like something you give your college kid or your high school kid, but everybody can definitely survive on a budget, and that's how you succeed, period.
Yeah. I have to push a book for my cousin called Rich Dad and Poor Dad, and he wrote several others for it. It's my cousin Robert. He needs the money. And also he has a YouTube channel. And it's like, he's always looking at me and says, "You're the poorest one in the family, yet everybody respects you." And I say, "Yeah, but you went to college. I didn't went to Harvard or Yale as an economics major. I'm just a simple old farm boy right here."
Yeah. So one final shot I have here for everybody. All right. So think about your budgeting and everything else, and anything you want to do. Talk it over your family. Do research on whatever it is you're thinking about spending money on. Make some primary plans, get family feedback. Also check into, should you talk to a financial expert? If you are going to talk to a financial expert, ask friends and family who have done it to see if they think it was worth it. And above all, don't rush into any decision.
Make sure you talk to a fiduciary if you are talking to a financial expert as well. A fiduciary is basically somebody that has to put your well-being above themselves. There are many people out there, just like with anything, there's scammers that are going to use you as a means to make them more money. So they're going to use your money as a way to hedge bets on whatever stock, maybe making option calls or whatever. And you don't want to be in a situation where they're like, "Well, I was making a good move that just turned sour," because they can always say, "We can't trust the market." And so if you have a fiduciary, they have to legally put your best interest in mind.
Right. Anthony, who was that guy they busted for spending all the rich people's money? I can't remember. Turn of the
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, that's the guy you have to watch out, folks. He might be flashy. If they look flashy and they have a flashy business, turn around, run away really fast.
$65 billion. That's why you see people like Kevin Bacon having to act in all these movies again, because all his money was with Bernie Madoff, and he used all of it in a hardcore, pyramid scheme and Ponzi scheme. Next thing you know, boom, it's all gone. So when it comes to basic financial preparedness, I talk about it on my channel. There's a lot of guys out there that talk about it. Good financial channels. You can never go wrong with just making sure that you have an emergency fund, since a lot of people don't even have that. I think it's like 67% of Americans do not even have a $1,000 emergency fund, just in case life happens and they got to go use credit cards. If you got to use credit cards, you're putting yourself overextended and you're asking for trouble, honestly. So the basics of basics. If you got to do it, by all means, be responsible and hold yourself accountable.
Just showed up.
Reed's here.
There he is.
Yeah. Everybody go check out Reed's channel. He's finally got the monsoon rains and everything's back to life again.
Yeah, a couple of the trees you thought were dead are alive. Yeah. Well, I think we've kind of covered everything pretty good here.
Yeah, there's different things that you're going to want to make sure that you're paying attention to in terms of investing, and it all depends on your personal needs. If you live within a city, if you live within wherever, different things are going to apply to you. So things that work for me aren't going to apply to somebody living in an apartment complex. So just my advice, period, would be to be like, hey, if I'm going to invest in this big purchase, is it going to pay off within a certain amount of time? If it's not, you have to look somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest with yourself. You can't bargain, because everybody's guilty of bargaining in their own mind, of thinking of something that's going to make their life a little bit easier, but in reality is going to cost them more money. That's why people, when they go out and get a job and get a raise, they're always more broke than they were before the raise, because they think they deserve to spend more money because they make more money. And ultimately, they don't make more money. They lose money.
Yeah, they go, oh, I got a $5 an hour raise. So that's 5 times 40. That's this. So I got this much money to spend. They forgot that they're going to lose over a third of it in taxes.
Right.
Yep. And then they're going to go out and buy a new car and do something else, and they're going to lose all that money.
Yeah. Guys, did we cover the 5 streams of income?
I covered some streams of income. I didn't actually come across 5 specific ones.
Okay. The basic rule for everybody who's making over $100,000 a year is to have 5 streams of income. First one, the first one you always do is what?
Not sure.
Real estate. Everybody who has money owns property. That's rentals. Rentals bring in money. Or rental of farmland will bring in money. Okay? Like what Gil put up right over here, you have to be careful. If you got a stink hole like Uncle Alan did in Stockton, how much you think I put in to get my money back out of it? I lost over $100,000 in that piece of, I can't say it because nice people are here and I don't want to curse again. Okay.
I'm surprised you invested anything in Stockton.
Lord, Gil, you don't want me to pop another vein in my head.
I've driven through there going to scout camp. We drive through as fast as we can, and we don't stop in Stockton.
No, unless you want to get mugged, shot, raped, and that's only at the first stop sign. I'm not kidding, Anthony. Go check out Stockton. It's like Detroit on steroids and meth. Okay, what's the second? Good. What's the second? Anthony talked about it earlier. What's the second for number 2?
I never knew there was a different, like an actual set number. I can tell you 20 different ways to invest. So I'm assuming stocks or precious metals.
Yeah. Stocks is another one. What Anthony said earlier. It's a good deal if you know what you're doing on the market. You have to be really careful. It's either short term or long term. A lot of people will investigate the market and they'll make long term investigations into that field. Like everybody thought PayPal was a whim. So how much is it worth right now in the billions, or Apple or Google? Everybody thought it was a joke thing, you know. I remember when it first offered me Google at $25 a share. Could you imagine how much?
You could be like me. You could be like me. I bought AMD for $6 and sold it at 20, and now it's worth 75, or I'm sorry, 82.
Right. That short-term gains versus long-term. If I goofed up this year because I invested in the wrong power company, PG&E, so that cost me an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
Okay, one of my streams is like, I just lost $21,000. Just like that. So if you do number 2, you have to see what's going to happen into the future. May look good now, but later on, like, oh, how much money does the company owe? $32 billion? Oh, crud.
Yeah.
Always look at the balance sheets if you're going to be investing in a company. Do not think because it's got good past performance that it's going to be worth anything in the future. Look at Sears, look at GE, period, point blank. If you don't pay attention to where things are going, you will lose money. And I can tell you point blank from experience, if you try to day trade, you're probably going to lose money because 90% of day traders lose money.
Yeah, only the ones who day trade nowadays are supercomputers. There's no humans that do it. It's microseconds, and they trade at a speed that it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of trades, when I was started at Homeland Security, one of the guys I was working with tried to get me to buy into Bitcoin. He goes, "Hey, just put $100 in." Well, he put like 5,000 into it over a 6-month period. 10 years later, he sold it all, and I think he made something like a 10,000 or 100,000% profit. Because when he was buying it, it was like $3 a share, $3 a coin, and when he sold it, it was at 25,000 a coin.
Yeah, but trouble with cryptocurrency, that was number 3. On crypto, you have to be very careful. Some of these companies, like the one that got robbed by the Maku in China, it's a criminal organization. They stole $24 billion worth of crypto. And everybody in Southeast Asia are like, we're going to hunt these people down and kill them very slow.
Yeah.
Because people forget, crypto is currency that is what? It's not gold. It's not paper. It's not an asset. It's electronic. So somebody with a laptop and a smartphone could go in there, take out 23 or was it 24? $24 billion like that. Yeah. That was number 3, crypto. And then
you can take your crypto and you can store it offline in an offline wallet to avoid having that big pitfall. However, when it comes to Bitcoin or Litecoin or any of these coins, you have to understand all it takes is one government to get ballsy and say, hey, we're making this thing illegal and you can't spend your money in that country. And so, I mean,
like North Korea. But Anthony's right. North Korea does not let any cryptocurrency in their country. It is totally outlawed. If you are suspected, well, there's a big market for body parts. They sell it to China.
Okay, we got Kathy at North Star Prep Center just came in.
Oh, hi, Kathy.
And who else was there? So we already got Reed.
Yep.
Thought I saw someone else pop in here too, but
I thought Mary Beth was here all the time.
Yeah, Mary Beth was here all the time, but Kathy. Yeah.
Lori was here, yeah.
Yep.
And let's see. Number 4 and 5 is it's hazy. I don't like to talk about it, but that's intellectual property.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand.
I don't have any intellectual property.
I know what Anthony's saying about China. But if you did like, who was it? Michael Jackson. Remember Michael Jackson, Anthony?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did he buy?
A lot of stuff. Neverland Ranch. I mean.
No, he bought the Beatles album. How much money did he make when he sold it to Apple?
No idea.
Well, Gil's right, too much. Because intellectual property, once you transfer over, could increase doublefold. Also, it could be ruined in just like that. Like the Happy Birthday song. If you sing it, you have to pay this company for the next 2,000 years to sing it. Anytime you say it on the radio, media, TV, social media, you just can't sing it, or you have to pay them so much. That's a copyright strike right there.
Yeah.
And number 5, I won't get into it. It's that stream is. I don't have that much to live, so I don't want to talk about it because I'll probably die first before I finish it.
Well, just for those watching, if you want to invest in real estate, like Uncle Al was talking about, his number 1 point, you don't actually have to go out there and buy a property and rent it out. You can do something called a REIT, REIT. It's real estate investment trust. It's basically like any kind of stock that you would normally trade on the stock market. I invest in a REIT, real estate investment trust myself. The company is called WP Carey. Basically, they invest and they buy properties and they rent them out, off all different sectors, from industrial to retail to home ownership, that kind of thing. And they give you, by tax law, they have to pay out 90% of their profits. So they will give that back in usually a pretty hefty dividend. So it is a good source of income if you want to go to that route.
Yeah. Now, will they also do, Kathy put it up there. There we go. But do they also allow you to reinvest automatically?
Yes, if you have a certain, whoever your broker is, my broker personally is Fidelity, and they allow me to do what's called a DRIP, a dividend reinvestment plan. Basically, all I do is just set up, hey, whatever dividends I get, I want to go directly back into the company, or I can direct them into my wallet through that, through Fidelity. But I always put everything back into the company. That way, I'm not tempted to do something else with the money. It'll go right back to it.
Also, it's a big tax break too. Yeah. You don't get taxed right away.
Oh, you still get taxed on your dividends. The only drawback is if you put that into an IRA, a tax-deferred IRA, then the dividends accrued from that are going to be deferred, like a 401k, something like that.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything, guys.
All right, so Courtney's taking off, and I think her husband's taking off too. Some others going to take off. So yeah, I think we got it wrapped up here for tonight. Next for Friday, for the Friday night special.
I thought you were going to put up fences.
Well, Thursday. I'm heading to California, so I may or may not be doing Friday night special this week. If I do it, it's going to be making your own survival food bucket. If not, it'll be that next week. So, but and there's just one other thing here. For investing in your own property to increase its value, for you, not for the market value. I like some of the things Anthony's done, like his little planter for the strawberries with a lid on it, keep the birds out of it, and some of his other ones he did for his potatoes and stuff. That you're investing in your property to pay a dividend of food. So how much you invest in that is up to you. But in these unsure times, you saw some of my videos. I dumped a lot into getting garden going, where I was only just going to do some small stuff. And man, I never ate so much lettuce. My lettuce took off, and it was doing great until finally last week it bolted on me.
Yeah.
But now my pump
gets to it.
Heat finally got to it. I couldn't keep it cool enough. Now all my cantaloupe are coming in, and the squash are coming in. The pumpkins are getting big now. So, yeah. All right, folks.
Well, that's a big thing a lot of people don't think about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to cut off, but yeah. So, any last words, guys? Any last thoughts from the side chat?
Just
one thing that a lot of people don't think about.
Go ahead.
You want to make sure that if you can grow that food, you want to make sure you can store it. That's just the one thing that you got to think about. So yeah, it's nice to have all this big plot of land and all these cool tractors or whatever, but if you don't have the ability to preserve that food, you might as well just throw it away, because that's all you're doing.
Yeah. Now, guys, if you haven't seen Gil's channel or Anthony's channel, please do. They're very good channels, and you should watch it. Me, I'm just Uncle Al, like you see on the title, crazy old kook. So don't worry about me. But these two guys need it, especially Anthony has a little one. So support his channel if you can. Yeah. Okay, guys, catch you later.
All righty. See you, everybody, on the next one. And as always, guys, everyone, stay happy, stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you.